Everyone else who is seeing me for the first time, hi, I am Chaida. I'm a Black conservative commentator and writer. And this is my podcast where I discuss relevant issues surrounding people, society, culture, and politics. I'm so happy that you're here and I'm so happy that you're joining me. If you like faith-based commentary, unfiltered, perspective on topics surrounding politics, social, and civic issues, then this is the channel for you. This is the podcast for you. So consider subscribing and following along for the journey because it is 2026 and the year is just unfolding, guys. And there is so much growth on this channel. I'm so happy that so many people are taking the time to invest in me. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. Started on this very heavy topic today, I'm going to share a scripture that I found in Galatians. It's very rare that I'm ever in the book of Galatians. I most likely have shared a scripture here or there. The book of Galatians. Give me a second because it's just going to be a while. Got it. All right. In Galatians 5, in verse 22, it says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such as these, there is no law." And that is going over the fruits of the Spirit and living life by the Lord. So I'm going to talk about two organizations, the Black Lives Matter movement, or LLC, if you know, you know, and the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. First, I'm going to break down the history of the NAACP. They were founded in 1909 by a multiracial group of activists, including W.E.B. Du Bois and Ida Bill Wells. Starting out in the early 20th century, the movement was centered in the civil rights movement, with anti-lynching advocacy, expanding voting rights, especially towards African Americans, fighting housing and employment discrimination, and legal challenges to segregation. They were most notably involved in the Brown versus Board of Education case in 1954. As the decade went on, the movement kind of evolved into a partisan political activist group for a progressive ideology that mostly aligned with the Democratic Party. And to this day, they are still promoting race-based policies, including helping the Black community rely on government dependency and identity politics. This organization has become an echo chamber for racial politics. More recently, during the 2024 gubernatorial race in Virginia, we had Democratic Congresswoman, or former Congresswoman, I'm not really sure, Abigail Spanberger running against the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, Winsome Sears. And the NAACP came out and put their rally support behind Abigail Spanberger, a white liberal woman, instead of the Black female governor. Why? Because Abigail Spanberger aligned with their ideology. The Democrat Party pays the NAACP to rally behind policies, to rally behind leaders who will follow their agenda. They're not exactly an organization that is for the investment of colored people per se, but they're for the investment of partisanship, of progressive ideology, for the liberal, leftist, far left propaganda. And more interesting, when I started doing research into the NAACP, they have a separate organization that is called the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, where they help with legal representation. And it's supported by the Open Society Foundation that is heavily associated with billionaire far left ideological George Soros. And the Open Society Foundation has been known to support organizations like Planned Parenthood and the Robin Hood Foundation and the American Civil Liberty Foundation. So billionaire George Soros has his hand in different organizations that has been known to target Black individual. We all, if you're here as a patriot, you already know that that Planned Parenthood is the #1 killer of young Black babies. More Black people have aborted their children than white people. Yes, because the organization Planned Parenthood has invested so much of its ideology in order to tarnish the Black community, following an ideology that was set by their founder, Margaret Sanger. If you don't know her, she was an outspoken eugenist that believed in exterminating the Black community. And that's why she created Planned Parenthood, to help the Black community go into extinction. And when she did that, and since then, Planned Parenthood has always simply followed through the mission. As you know, they're more established in urban areas and more close united with Black neighborhoods, predominantly Black neighborhoods. So that is the NAACP for you. And then next we have Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter began in the wake of Trayvon Martin's death in 2013. No, that can't be right. 2011. Yes, 2011. They were founded by a group of outspoken trained Marxists such as Patrisse Cullors. And in the beginning years of Black Lives Matter, the mission was stated that they were combating racism, especially challenging systematic inequality, dismantling or defunding the police, expanding government involvement in housing, healthcare, and educational reconstruction. So as you can see, there's some similarities between them and the NAACP. They rely heavily on the government, more particularly on Democrats, to help fulfill their mission in either uplifting or bringing down Black America. And in recent years, the Black Lives Matter Corporation has been known to have lack of clarity and lack of clarity in their financial transparency. We have already know that millions of dollars in donations spent on personal development and luxury expenses for various leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement. That's why you have several small chapters across the country break away from the movement, because they know that the entire organization, the national organization of Black Lives Matter, is basically a fraud. It was just a scheme to get rich quick scheme that definitely impacted everyone, that definitely impacted civilization as we know it. So why do I think that Black Lives Matter and the NAACP hate Black people? As I always had a firm, not always, but I do have a firm belief that Black Lives Matter was rooted in the ideology that was promoting far left, radical, progressive agenda. And I've not always believed that Black Lives Matter was for destruction, but I do believe that there was a time that I believe where they were doing good works until 2020. and the whole debacle with George Floyd and the burning down of cities and rioting, you saw so openly how much they disdain the Black community. They will cry out for George Floyd, but destroy Black-owned businesses. That's where I was like, okay, I draw the line. And then you had the NAACP. I think that during the earlier era of the NAACP, I generally believe, looking back their history, they did really good works in order to uplift the Black community, especially during the time of Jim Crow. As time has went on, I think the Democratic Party saw NAACP as a tool they can use in order to have more control over the Black community. And so I believe that they were definitely in cahoots with different Democratic leaders throughout history in order to help reinforce the idea that Black America can't get anywhere without the help of the government, whether that's via programs, welfare state, or anything else. They are literally bought by the Democratic Party to help dismantle Black America. And we're already seeing the effects of it. Look at the literacy rate among Black children. Look at the abortion rates among Black mothers. Look at the Black communities in Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit. You see a pattern here. So both of these organizations have been masterful in conducting control over Black culture and influence, emphasizing on racial grievances rather than empowerment. So don't come for me and think that I'm trying to throw darts and throw strife at these organizations. My job here is literally to share the truth. And as we go back to Galatians 5, it talks about the fruit of the Spirit: forgiveness, forbearance, love, peace. Neither one of these organizations are doing the works of the Lord. Because if they were, Black America would look so much different. America would look so differently. The reason why Black America is not where it is today, because of the vengeance that different leaders across these different nonprofit organizations have turned racial inequality into a business in order to get rich. And by doing that, they work in alignment with different Democratic leaders over time to make sure that the Black community is always staying in poverty, that the Black community is staying uneducated, that the Black community stay illiterated, and the Black community stay in the welfare system. So, if there's anything that I want you to gain from this today, is to be a free, independent thinker. Think for yourself. Do not follow what is mainstream cool or what's mainstream relevant. Do your own research. Question the narrative. Stand firm in grace. Be bold in faith. This is her time. This is her America. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, leave a comment, join in on this conversation, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to This is Her America. We're here to have the conversations others are afraid to touch. If today's episode challenged you, encouraged you, or gave you a new perspective, do not keep it to yourself. Share it, subscribe, and join the conversation. Follow the podcast on YouTube and all major platforms, and stay connected, because this isn't just commentary. This is conviction. Until next time, stay rooted in truth, be bold in faith, and unafraid to stand. This is her time. This is her America. From yours truly.